What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to episode 26, 27, something like that. So this episode,
know.
Yeah, we know.
Never know.
All right, I really need to get on track.
We standing.
I always stand. I can't sit for that long.
I like standing.
Yeah, I just get to move more freely.
Yeah.
But so this episode is going to be about the power of the subconscious mind, all about the subconscious mind, basically how to reprogram it, I suppose. Mm-hmm. We'll dive into that a little bit. Yeah. Pretty much the importance of acknowledging the subconscious mind, because I was honestly totally unaware until like maybe 6 months ago. And then once I started to be mindful of it, my life kind of just rerouted. Literally rerouted.
It has the power to do that.
Dude, it's crazy.
A lot of people don't understand that you do have two minds. It's the conscious and subconscious. Yeah. And it's like the mind and the body, they're separate.
It's like
yes, you have a brain, which is your body, but the mind and the thoughts separate from the body.
What is controlling all those things in your sleep? You know, like your heart's still pumping, your lungs are still working, you're still digesting. You're like all this shit is happening in your sleep, and that is pretty much all your subconscious mind is controlling that shit.
Yeah, so I just had to look something up real quick, and the actual terms that we're looking for are id, superego, and ego. The id is normally what we are referring to when we talk about the subconscious mind. We're talking about like our lizard brain, like our instincts, our desires, the things that we can't control. We're aware of them consciously, but we can't change them. Mm-hmm. And then the superego is like the super critical part of you that just that cuts everything down.
It's your judge. It's basically the judge.
Yeah, and then the ego is the thing that mediates between the two. So that's closer to like how you are just in your regular daily life.
I'm kind of unfamiliar with the ego. Do you know anything about it?
Yeah, well, from what I just read on Wikipedia,
I have like a good amount of knowledge on the subconscious, not nearly enough, but
think about your ego as your level of confidence.
Really?
You know?
I mean, I think the ego.
Different.
I think a good way to think about the ego. Not to cut you off, Ty, but I think it's a good way. It's like it's the mediation between. So your id is all your desires, right? Mm-hmm. And then your super ego basically says like, no, you can't go around doing whatever you want. Like you can't eat 25 times a day. Like you can't do all that. Like you can't do a bunch of shit like that. Mm-hmm. And then the result of that is your ego. It's basically your id, like sliced up into pieces by your super ego, and then that would be your ego.
Got you.
That makes sense.
Were you about to say something?
I mean, I see it as like, think about everyone's ego in a way of confidence. Like I see people with big egos, they have a lot of confidence, you know, and it's just all about how, I guess, out there you are.
Yeah. I guess that makes perfect sense. So what I really want to touch on with the subconscious is that, like, if you can program your subconscious to stop, like, you can program it to stop cussing. You can program it to alter your thoughts from these negative. Yeah. So like when you start spiraling downwards and you're in this anxiety loop when you get that trigger. So usually your subconscious is what triggers that first downward thought. And then so when you have that first thought, your subconscious sends an emotion or a thought to match the emotion that came with that first thought. So a thought that matches that emotion is usually pretty sad, you know? So it keeps spiraling down because you're like, say the first thought is, oh, I want to go up to them, but I'm not confident enough. So that obviously gives you an emotion because you're like, damn, I'm not confident enough. So then you have another thought like, damn, I'm really just not confident enough for this. And then it just keeps going down, down, down. So by being able to be mindful of the subconscious when it throws these first negative impulsive thoughts out is to just tell yourself, I'm not going to think about that. I'm not going to think about something that's going to not benefit me.
It's acknowledging that first thought before it just spirals.
Yeah, snowballs down.
Right.
Acknowledging. It's just being mindful of every thought that comes through your consciousness. Like when you're on autopilot in the morning, sometimes
that is subconscious.
Yeah, literally. In the morning when you're like getting up, brushing your teeth, like you're usually just moping through the day.
If you ever feel like you're going through the motions or you feel that, oh my God, time has flown by today, it's because you probably weren't conscious a lot of that time. You were just going with the motions. That's your subconscious brain taking over
autopilot.
And just literally autopiloting you through that day or period of time. I often notice sometimes when you're in a conversation with someone that you don't want to be in, like your autopilot in a way. You're just reflecting
matching and mirroring.
Exactly.
Literally.
You match what they say just to get through the conversation.
And then you're just looking for an escape route as soon as you can. Like you're just like, all right, how can I end this?
And then that's the conscious.
Yeah, you're
looking for the escape route out of a conversation. You have to consciously think, okay, how am I going to end this conversation? But while you're in the midst of the conversation, you're just, like we said, you're matching that person. If you're in a combo that you don't want to really be in.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with everything you guys have just said, but when I think of the subconscious, I think of the part of us that we don't even know that we don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, it's fucking
because if you think about it, if you're conscious of something, by definition, it's not your subconscious. Like, the habits you were just talking about, Alex, like, I mean, yeah, those can stem from the subconscious, but they're really conscious habits because you're consciously changing them. They're happening to you consciously. Like, when you're just like, fuck shit. Like, that's consciously happening to you. You know what I mean?
That is straight subconscious, though. Like, it is.
I would argue the exact opposite. I'd say if you thought about what you say, you could
no.
completely stop doing that.
Dude, I can't. Like, I literally, my brain is blank, and I'll just cuss.
Yeah.
Like, my brain is blank, and I'm cussing. And then I sit back, I'm like, where did that stem from?
See,
like,
if he was to catch himself in the midst of saying that would be his conscious brain realizing that he's saying that.
Yeah.
But the subconscious just whips it out in a
Like,
way.
literally whips
and
it
then
out
the
all
conscious
the
brain
time.
silences that, and that's why sometimes he won't finish what he said.
Yeah, because
that's an interesting take on it.
Because we're programmed, because we've been cussing since, like, 4th, 5th grade. Like,
Speak for yourselves.
I have.
Most people have been cussing since elementary school.
I've been cussing for a hot minute. Like, I almost said hot effing minute, but I caught myself there. So it's just like, that program is that neural pathway is just ginormous, because it's such an easy word that you can just go to. So trying to stop that is incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Incredibly difficult. But I've been trying, me and Ty, whenever we notice ourselves cuss, we go affirmation, because because we're
you
trying.
Substitute the cuss word for an affirmation. So like, if I was to say shit, I would say, all right, you know what? I consciously train my brain to think about an affirmation after I cuss. So you say something like, I attract success naturally. Or any affirmation that you want.
I'm getting happier every day.
Right, just to change that thought or that like word.
Whatever it is you're desiring. Like, if someone's desiring more abundance, I am so abundant. I am becoming more abundant every day. I'm attracting abundance.
But then wouldn't you say you're training your body to say the cuss words before you say your affirmations?
See, it doesn't.
That's an interesting way to think
about it. I mean, that's a good way to think about it, but that doesn't happen to me.
Yeah, because I cuss way more than I say affirmations, that's for sure. That is for sure. Like, literally, because the songs we listen to cuss, like, everything. All of our friends cuss. Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone cusses. Movies cuss. Video games even cuss now. So it's just...
I guess, like, people need to realize that everything can program you.
Everything.
So
pretty much everything.
Your video games program you. The music you listen to programs you. The politicians you pay attention to program you.
The media.
Your parents program you. Like, anything can program you.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think that's a good analogy too. I forget who I first heard it from, but they described the brain as kind of like a computer, and then you just run a bunch of different software, and then some software gets put into you by other people, some software you create yourself based on things that you take in.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Ty, when you say that like every stimulus that you take in matters. Literally every single one. I think some matter a lot more than others. And since people are individuals, two people can get something completely different from the same exact stimulus.
Yeah.
That's the real kicker. It's like one person can listen to someone talk and come to this conclusion, and someone can hear the same exact thing and come to a completely exact opposite
That's
conclusion.
Individuality at its finest.
The kicker is the emotion that comes with what the stimuli they are picking up. So I was reading Think and Grow Rich today, and it was talking about autosuggestion and how, like, to become money conscious, you have to train your subconscious. So in order to train your subconscious, you have to mix faith, belief, persistence, desire with emotion, and that is how you wire your subconscious brain. So every morning, I just started doing this. I was going to call you when I did it. So I wrote out all my visualizations. So every single morning, I wake up and they're right there next to my bed, and it's saying I will have a blank amount of money by this set date for doing for I can't think of the word
your sacrifice
by my services
my
services
your sacrifice
and,
or whatever.
Other business opportunities and other things I'm unaware of at this moment, and I can clearly feel and see myself in possession of this money. So I have to close my eyes and I have to visualize myself in this possession and act like it has already been given to me. So then I can feel what it would feel like when I get that money, so that it wires my subconscious to think like that.
That's important. I think it's also important to note the fact that you need, like, if you want to acquire an abundance of anything, like, what are you going to sacrifice? What are you going to offer your services for? Like, there's a take and there's a give and pull, you know?
That's a great point,
like,
sacrificing.
Exactly. You have to realize that it's not all just going to come. Like, you're going to have to put something forth.
Yeah, whether it be a service you're rendering or merchandise that you're providing, like, you have to do something to obtain it. So you have to have a burning desire, is what it says, a precise plan, a mastermind group, belief backed by faith, and you have to be able to burn bridges in the process.
Yeah. So I had a follow-up question pop into my head, based on what you just said a minute ago, Alex. And so you know how you said you have all your affirmations, or I can't remember if that's the exact word you used, but you have your goal is written out basically. Right, like you're thinking about it, like you're putting your brain. You already put your brain in the position of having all these things.
Yes.
To train your mind to think that way. I want to ask you what's the bridge between that and then actually getting it like physically in reality? Like what's the connection between that?
Persistence, consistency, desire.
Consistency is
key. So I agree with that, but I want you to get a little bit more specific here. So, like, even if you're consistent with your affirmations, if you don't actually do anything in the real world,
it's taking action. Like, you literally
won't get it.
You have to plan. Not only do you have to wire your brain to be money conscious, but you have to plan, and then from that plan, you have to take persistent action. So not only can I just tell myself this shit, I'm gonna be abundant, but I have to actually do something, to render my services to people. So, like, whether it be mentoring people, the stock market, advertising.
Actions speak louder than words.
Exactly. I can't predict the future, but all I know is that my subconscious brain is attracting opportunities. Because Think of Grow Rich is absolutely fucking fire, because it talks about the infinite knowledge, which is your subconscious mind.
I've read it a couple times. Go on.
Your subconscious mind is all knowing. It just hasn't shown you that it knows that certain topic yet. So it says when you're training your subconscious mind to pick up these opportunities. It may hit you as just a shockwave, like an inspiration. Like, so every night I started doing this too, because I don't know where I read this one, but it says every night before you go to bed, thank your subconscious mind for enlightening you with the information that you were desiring. So every night before I go to bed, I say, thank you, subconscious mind, for giving me the ideas I need to enhance my social media platform. And then I'll wake up with just great ideas. And it's just absolutely fucking nuts, because your subconscious mind is always working. So you can literally ask your subconscious mind for anything, and it will give it to you. Because, like, so I was reading this book, and then, what book was it? Your book. It was The Power of the Subconscious Mind was the book. The example was, this guy lost a ring, and he had no fucking idea where it was. It was affirmation. He had no idea where it was. So he went to sleep pondering the idea, saying, subconscious mind, please enlighten me with the wherever the ring is. So he wakes up with a ringing in his ear saying, ask Robert, who's this 9-year-old kid who has no affiliation with him.
Yeah, no pun intended, ringing in his ear.
Yeah, ringing in, no pun intended, yeah. And he goes up to this 9-year-old kid and asks him, and he goes, oh yeah, I picked it up in the yard and I put it on my desk. So, like, I feel like subconscious mind and intuition go like hand in hand. And it's just...
It's your gut. It's your gut reaction.
The subconscious, man, I'm gonna probably spend like a good amount of my life just learning about it, because I feel like it has powers that we
we'll never stop learning about it. There's always gonna be something more to know.
There's always gonna be something, which is so fucking dope.
It's so nice. There's always something else out there. You can never be stagnant, because there's always something else. Unless you're just in a rut in life, and
Yeah, I heard this one thing. It's like, you are not truly intelligent until you realize you don't know anything.
Yeah, I think I said that a couple podcasts ago.
Yeah, I was like,
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson's the one who said it.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, that is so facts, because sometimes I take a step back and I'm like, wow, from where I was a year ago, like, damn, affirmation, damn, like, twice, bro. So, but then I realized, I'm like, there's just so much that I can't even fathom. Like the amount of books that are just this deep, they're all just full of knowledge. It's awesome to think about.
Yeah, you know who I really want to start reading, who I have no excuse for not already getting into it, but Sigmund Freud did a lot of work on the subconscious mind.
I want to read that, Sean.
I think he's the guy that actually conceptualized the id, the superego, and ego. I might be wrong.
No, he is.
Yeah, but...
We learned about that in psych.
That is some stuff I'm really trying to get into.
Yeah, so auto-suggestion, I got the idea from Ty. But he has these pieces of paper all over his room that are just affirmations pretty much. So I put one on my dresser, like my underwear drawer, so I see it like every day that says I only auto suggest thoughts of success. And then I have another one on my mirror that says I am something about abundance. And then there's one above my light switch that says I am going in the directions of my dreams confidently. And there's one on my TV, because I don't really use my TV, that says I have absolutely no doubt I will live lavishly. So I'm mixing all my emotions, my confidence, my no doubt. I feel like being able to burn bridges is another thing that people need to...
Yeah. Just understand when you need to terminate a connection.
Yeah. I mean, like, sometimes it's like a homie. Then you're just like, dang. Call myself.
Yeah.
See,
you're getting better already. You're getting better already.
Like, if that person is only holding you back and only giving you negative stimuli to your life, you have to realize that, and that's unfortunate, but you got to cut them off.
One of my mentoring students today, we had a 45-minute call, and she was telling me about how her one friend just brings so much toxicity into her life, and like she was having a hard time of just trying to figure out why it's like that. And I'm like, so how long have you guys been like toxic? Like this sounds horrible. Like I don't have one single friend that is like this, and that is specifically for a reason. And she's just like, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like she won't wish me happy birthday, or I won't wish her happy birthday. I'm like, come on now. Like, it's like you have to realize when a relationship is doing more damage than good, and be able to cut it off. Like,
yeah, I think you also need to know, like, going back to burning bridges, you have to know, like, you have to be burning them for the right reason.
You do.
Like, you can't just be cutting off people around you in an unhealthy way. Like, you can't just isolate yourself. That doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
And like there are other times when sometimes you have a little bit of an obligation to help somebody. So there's a lot of situations. I'd say more often than not it goes the other way. But sometimes there's times where you shouldn't burn a bridge, because if you do, then you're just like leaving that person like to themselves. And like if there's a way you can intervene without like expending too much energy yourself, then sometimes you're obligated to help. Not always, but sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially with going in the directions of your dreams. If someone is just like, hey, come over, let's smoke. And like that's all they are there for, and they don't, when you're there, like you're not talking about anything productive, like that's a relationship that you don't have to cut them off, but just don't spend your valuable time in that presence.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say in that instance, it's not burning a bridge, but just like
distancing yourself.
Moving your priorities. I mean, it's not even, I wouldn't even say distancing yourself. I mean, that's what would happen, but it would just be that would be a byproduct of prioritizing different things.
Yeah, okay, that's a good way to put it as well.
So it's like it's a lot of times not an intentional thing, but as you start leveling yourself up, you just grow apart from other people. It's just something that happens.
That is so relatable.
Incredibly.
You know?
Incredibly.
People all grow at different rates. It's just like, why, if you're I don't know.
There's no schedule. Like everyone grows at a different time, different rate.
But if you're growing so rapidly and have so much growth and knowledge, and no one's really like providing anything to you, like why stick around in a way? Why not just find more like-minded people?
I'm right there with you. I agree.
I'm just questioning it.
I agree with you. I'm always open for finding like-minded individuals, because show me your friends, I'll show you your future. That literally always sticks with me, because like what you surround yourself with is going to have a huge influence.
You hang around 10 broke ass boys, you're gonna be the 11th.
Yeah, literally.